Hey everyone, I'm here today taking a look at Mattel's Jurassic World Rebirth Distortus Rex Island Escape set. As well as a boat and the two Delgados, it comes with this Distortus Rex, but this is smaller than the electronic one that we got. If I just bring that in there to show you just how much of a size difference there is. And the thing is, in the movie, Distortus Rex was really big. I mean, Distortus Rex was even bigger than this, really, scale-wise, with the human figures and the other dinosaurs. So this one's really small. Though at the start of the film we do see a younger version of it, so you could just use this as the younger Distortus Rex from earlier in the movie. This larger one has a lot more paint details, like the back nails are painted on the large one, whereas on this one none of the nails are. Also, this one's kind of a lighter colour in general than the larger one, but once again you could dismiss that as just changes as the Distortus Rex got older, its skin colour got darker. One thing I do like on this smaller one is that the mini arms here are quite tight at the joint there, like the shoulder joint, so you can pose them, whereas on the large one they were really loose and dangly for some reason, and it was like that on all of the ones in the store that I bought this from. I actually thought this was broken when I got it, so I went back in and checked them all and they're all the same. And I guess that's for when it's vibrating, the action feature, it makes the arms wiggle, but I prefer being able to pose them on this one. Also on the larger one, this left foot is kind of outstretched, so it's flat on the ground, whereas on the new one it's in more of a fist like the other hand. So on the large one he actually did grip the figure quite well, and it does on this smaller one too. You can get a figure in there so it'll pick him up to eat it. This smaller one has a bit more articulation in the wrists. You know, they'll swivel around as well as pivoting like that, and that's the same on both of them. Whereas on the larger one, this wrist does swivel round, but it breaks the sculpt and just looks weird, like it's really just meant to be in that one pose. And the other hand does swivel around a bit, but also there's shoulder articulation on both sides of this small Distortus, whereas on the larger one, it didn't have any articulation on the left shoulder to go outwards, only forward and backwards. So even though it's smaller and not quite as detailed with the paint job, it does have better articulation. And this is something Mattel did with the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus as well. We'd get the larger electronic version, which had better paint details, and then we get these smaller non-electronic versions that have better articulation. And the Spinosaurus also came in a story pack like this Distortus does. For articulation, the mouth opens and closes, and this is something that's nice on this one, because on the larger electronic version the mouth opening and closing is attached to the action feature, so you can't really pose it with the mouth closed, it just closes when you press the button. Whereas this one you can have it posed with the mouth open or closed. Arms both go out to the sides like that, as well as forward and backwards, and the wrists swivel around as well as moving kind of up and down like that. So get some nice posing out of the wrists there and the arms. No elbow articulation though on either of them, which is kind of a shame. That would have been nice, but I guess they're saving that for the Hammond Collection version. These little arms here go up and down, back legs go forward and backwards, and then the tail swivels around. No neck articulation on this one. This arm is at more of an angle as well, whereas the other arm here is a little bit straighter, so the arms aren't both at the same angle, which is good for just getting it, you know, in different kind of poses really. Since they don't have any actual elbow articulation, it's nice that the arms aren't both exactly the same. Got nice gnarly looking teeth there. It is nice being able to have the mouth closed just for a different look. Because I was kind of thinking of selling this one since I've got the larger version, but this is still a really nice Distortus Rex, like still really nice detailing to the sculpt there. And the paint job, even though it's a bit more simple than the larger ones, does still look nice actually. And here's Reuben and Isabella Delgado. And we are getting another Reuben figure with a jacket on that comes with a Parasaurolophus. But I think this is the only way so far at least to get Isabella. Reuben comes with this walking stick accessory, which is something that can really easily get lost out here. But yeah, it's quite a nicely sculpted stick. Kind of not the most exciting accessory, but it makes sense for him. Got a ripped shirt. Quite a nice sculpt though of the actor. I like the face sculpt's really nice there. Got a watch on his wrist. Another rip on the back of his shirt there. All in all, very nicely detailed. And he holds that stick pretty well. You can kind of wedge it under his shoulder and then he holds on to one of the branches sticking out the side of it as it goes down there. So it actually looks quite good the way they've designed it for him to use as a walking stick. For articulation, it's pretty standard. I mean, if you've got any Jurassic World basic figure, you'll know the articulation, the elbows and the shoulders, no wrist articulation or ankles, but you know, it's got a swivel at the waist, legs go forward and backwards and out to the side, and there's a knee joint, and also the head obviously will go around. So not too bad, especially as his only accessory is a stick anyway. He doesn't really need any drastic articulation to hold a gun or anything. And here's Isabella, who has more basic articulation. There's no elbow joint and no knee joint. Now, you know, I guess it is just a little girl, so she's not going to be doing the most action-packed stuff. So maybe you don't need her to have as much articulation as one of the mercenaries, for instance. And we have seen before with Lex and Tim in the Legacy collection from the first movie that they didn't have any knee or elbow articulation either, or at least Tim didn't. But yeah, so with her it's basically just the neck, the shoulders and the hips that are articulated. Don't think the waist is either. So pretty basic on her, but I'm not too bothered, just for a little girl character. I'm not going to do much posing with her anyway. Got this yellow jacket with a pink t-shirt and blue shorts, which is a very Jurassic Park vibe to this outfit. You know, a lot of characters in the first movie wore those yellow raincoats, and then the pink and the blue is a very Ellie Sattler and Alan Grant kind of colour scheme. So I guess that was deliberate to just give her Jurassic Park vibes. Got these sort of pinky, more sort of violet-y sandals on. And she comes with this pink rucksack, which is removable. It's the rucksack she has in the film, which has got that kind of weird smiley face on the back. The backpack doesn't open up or anything. We've seen in some of the other rucksacks that we've had that they will open up, but this one doesn't. And one of these bits on the side here does come unclipped. That one there, so it makes it easier to get off. So it just kind of slides off the one shoulder there. I don't know how accurate it is to the actress, but it does look like just a nice kind of little girl face sculpt, you know. I mean, I remember some of the earlier human figures in the line back in 2018 when Fallen Kingdom come out, and God, the face sculpts were so ugly. The paint jobs were terrible. Like, the faces have definitely gotten better as the years have gone by. On the back, she's got like a hood sculpted on the back of her yellow jacket. And then she also comes with Dolores, and it's nice to get the little Dolores. I guess this is the best way to get it in scale, is to have it come with the figure. This is very small, so it's completely non-articulated, but it's got a nice paint job for such a small dinosaur. There's like a darker brown around the beak, yellow for the eyes, then a gradually lighter brown and even creamy underneath, and then the black stripes on the tail. Like, it's so small, it's hard to move her around without completely covering her with my fingers. Just give you a look at it all the way around. And the underneath. No app code for Dolores. Here are all the human figures we've had so far in the line. It's just Duncan we're waiting for now. They haven't announced any other characters from the film that we're going to get figures of. For some reason, Duncan's not coming out till September. I don't know why, because he's literally the last thing that they haven't released from the movie yet. Every other dinosaur and all the human figures that they're planning on releasing have come out, but Duncan's going to take till September. It's really frustrating, because my collection feels incomplete without him in it. And here's the boat. Now, it's not as big as it should be, really, because we saw like 7 characters on this thing in the film, and I am going to try in a minute to see how many figures I can fit on there, but I think 7 would be a bit of a squeeze. This is actually more the size I'd expect that yellow dinghy to be. I kind of wish they'd have just given us that instead, but I guess this is a more interesting looking vehicle because it's got the control panel, and they've added a missile launcher, which isn't in the film. There is no missile launcher on that boat, though the missile launcher actually looks more like a video camera, with like a lens, you know, sort of a light or something on the top there. Though I guess maybe that's supposed to be a scope for the missile launcher. But you've got 2 projectiles that come with it. One is like a life buoy thing, which makes sense. The boat would, you know, fire off a buoy to anyone who's gone overboard. And then on the other side here, it's got a harpoon, which once again makes sense for a boat. If it's going to fire a projectile, it'd be like a harpoon. So I like that, and you can store them in the side there too if you want to. Don't know why I find it so funny to fire the missile at the child. But you can remove the missile launcher / video camera off the top there. I kind of wish you could remove this whole frame, but I couldn't get it out, and I don't want to risk breaking it. But that'd kind of get it out of the way so you could fit the figures in there better. Then you've got the control panel for the boat there, with the steering wheel. You can see various different controls and things on there too, and like a windscreen there, or windshield in front. There's a nice amount of detailing in there. There are 2 foot pegs in there. I've got one in the bottom of his foot there, and then there's one at the front too. As you can see, you can have him holding onto the steering wheel there, driving the boat, or sailing it, I guess. But there's actually a button here, this orange bit, and if you press that, it makes that blow off, which isn't something that happened in the film. Like, this boat doesn't really get attacked, but still, quite a cool little action feature to make it look like the boat's blowing up or something. And you've got the outboard motor on the back there, which has got quite a nice bit of articulation to it. Kind of goes up and down, swivels around. You can turn it from side to side slightly as well. They've sort of really well articulated that for some reason. Yeah, that's quite a nice sculpt to that. The propeller doesn't move around or anything at the bottom there. On the bottom here there are wheels, so you can wheel it along the ground, which I guess is cool, but where the wheels connect, I think that makes a hole in the bottom. There's also these 2 holes here, which had little plastic keys going up into it to hold the boat in the packaging. So there are quite a few holes in the bottom here, which might make it so that this won't float, which is really annoying, because if they'd have just kept this as one solid piece of plastic that's hollow inside, it would have floated really nicely. It's kind of annoying that they've put all these holes in the bottom, because that might mean that it doesn't float. I'm not sure. If there's nowhere for the air to escape out of the top, then it might still float even with these holes in there. I am going to test it later on, and I'll show you that. But I mean, I guess it makes sense to have wheels on here so that kids playing with it can just pretend that it's in the ocean. But I'm the kind of guy who likes to put these things in the water, all right? I want a boat that's going to float. See, if you've got the missile launcher on here and you've got someone standing there at the wheel, it knocks their head. So you've either got to have it pointing backwards like that, or just take it off. So there I've got 5 figures on there. You probably could squeeze another 2 in, like 1 at the front here, maybe 1 on this side, or 2 in the front here if they're sitting down. But it's going to be a bit of a squeeze, and it wasn't that much of a squeeze in the film. So yeah, this is a bit smaller than it should be. Also in the film there was a lot of yellow on this boat. It wasn't just pure black, but the Mattel version here is pretty much all black except for that orange bit where the seating area is. But it does look nice though. I don't really miss the yellow. Now I've got this in hand looking at it, it does look nice. But you can fit the figures that come with this set on the boat really nicely, with the dad steering, the little girl at the front there. Even the little Aquilops has a place to kind of stand at the front there. As it did absorb some water in the bottom there because it's leaking out, so I think it might eventually sink. Yeah, sinking. Oh, that's disappointing. So yeah, I've got it in shallow water there, but if you put it in deeper water, it's just going to sink within seconds. Oh, that's really disappointing. Such a shame that boat doesn't float. I've had to balance it on some rocks here to give it the effect that it's floating in the water. I don't know if there's any way you could fill those holes at the bottom. I think there's too much going all the way through it. I'd have much rather this thing was just solid plastic and hollow inside so it would have floated. But other than the lack of being able to float, it is a really nice set, and it's a nicely sculpted boat. And even the mini Distortus Rex is pretty cool, and it's nice building up the human cast as well. So let me know what you think. Do you wish this thing floated, or do you prefer it with the wheels on the bottom? Thanks for watching. Give me a like and a subscribe if you feel like it, because it really helps the channel out, and I'll catch you again soon.